What's up, everyone? Couldn't hear myself in the headphones. Yo, man, turn me up in the headphones. That's what Mace used to say. Oh, this is Tim. This is New York Giants Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. Kind of wanted to do a follow up to my video, my what Joe Shane can learn from the Knicks or the Rangers, or can Brian Dable and or Joe Shane actually win in New York? And that's kind of the philosophy of all this. Can they win in New York? Can they build a winner? You know, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Just ask the Zach Attack, who says, I'm convinced that Joe Shane is a figurehead at this point, and Chris and John Mara run the show. 3 GMs, same old nonsense. Reese 2012, 2016, Gelman 2018, 2021, Shane 2021 presents, same issues. And that's kind of the question, because like I said, Shane is like Chris. What's up, Tim? This team stinks. We also got Big Blue Forever going, what's up, Tim? Matthew in his house as well. What's up, Tim? What's OBB? Family Matthew also says Zach is not 100% right. He's 1,000% right. 1,000%. You look at the drafts, hey, Hung Dave, what's going on, Dave? Hung Dave, I haven't seen Hung Dave. Well, I think I have a team that might have a worse quarterback room than the quarterback room, the Browns. Well, I mean, I don't know. That's it depends on who you're counting as the quarterbacks with the Browns. I mean at this point in time, I mean you still got what's his name? You still got Watson, but he's coming off the injury, so I don't know what's going on with Watson. I'm trying to think who the hell the quarterbacks are outside on the Browns. That's probably not. You got Jameis Winston there. You got Jameis Winston and what's his name? Tyler Huntley's there. And what's his name? What's that kid's name? He's got 3 names. He's got 3 names. I can't think of his name. Thompson Robinson. I don't remember his first name. But I know he's got 3 names. No, actually, their quarterback room is better. Mara is running the show. Nothing will change. Joe Rev, a Giants fan. Joe Rev, I'm going to the post office tomorrow. I wonder what that's all about. Drew Lock and Dan Jones are similar states. Hey, things are looking up. We signed the Canadian League quarterback. Yes, we signed the Canadian League quarterback, and everyone's like, oh, he was with the Patriots. He must be good. The venerable Bill Belichick probably looked at him and said, he's got to be good. But can you build a winner? Can they build a winner here? I mean, it took the Knicks a while. I mean, James Dolan had to step aside. James Dolan had to say, now he made a mistake because he stepped aside with Pat Riley and said, you know what, here, with Phil Jackson, and said, here, Phil, here's the keys to the team. Here's the keys to MSG. Well, he didn't give the keys to MSG. He probably should have given the keys to the Garden. But here's the keys to the franchise. Do what you do. Make me a winner like you did when LA and with the Bulls. Continue the success of the triangle. James Dolan, at that point in time, stepped back, which is shocking. Still has his idiocy and his stupidity in the Garden, going back to the Charles Oakley situation. But even after Phil Jackson flamed out and failed, he went to Leon Rose, and once again said, "Hey, Leon, here you go, dude. Here's the keys to the franchise. Try to do a better job than the predecessor." He made some moves. He did some things. He let some people go. He signed some guys. The Evan contract was just a fucking nightmare. But he built assets. He built through the draft. And he took those assets and he took those draft picks and he took RJ Barrett and he took Grimes and he took everyone else and he turned around and traded them for a mindset of a team that they wanted to have. And that is literally what the Knicks did. The Knicks built a mindset. They built a philosophy around their head coach, which is Tibbs, which is play defense. And, especially in the playoffs, slow that shit down. Make it a half court offenses win in the playoffs. That's what they do. There's a reason a lot of running gun teams don't win, because it's a slow down half court game when you hit the playoffs. And Rose was smart enough to understand that. And he focused on building the team around the situation that they were in. They went out and got Josh Hart. They went out and got DiVincenzo. They went out and made the trade for OG Anunoby. And don't forget, My precious. My precious, I like. I still love my precious. I don't know why he didn't go in that Philly series in that last game, even though they won. I mean, but he made a philosophy. Leon created his culture of winning by building around this coach, sticking to a plan, and understanding you're either in a rebuild or you're not in a rebuild. Joe Shane hasn't figured that shit out yet. He doesn't know if he's rebuilding on the fly to try to win, and he doesn't know whether this is a complete teardown. You're in year 3, Joe. You fucked up the cap space oh so badly. I mean, oh so badly again. People are like, well, don't worry, we'll have money in 2025. I heard that about 2024. What happened to that? What happened to the 2024 money? Oh, you signed those contracts and you pushed dollar. You kicked the can down the road. You Gettleman'd it. So is your philosophy to build around Daniel Jones? Is your philosophy to build around defense? Is your philosophy to build through the draft? Is your philosophy to build through free agency? What's the philosophy, Joe? And the worst thing is this. You would think by now we would have a general idea what the philosophy is. You knew right away when the Knicks went out and traded for Josh Hart 2 years ago what the philosophy was. We need athletic wing guys that can play defense and score. And we're going to build around Brunson. And we're gonna have Brunson, Randall, and then Hart as our options. Then you went out and got another 3-and-D guy in OG Anunoby. He's not really a 3-and-D guy, but you went out and got that defensive presence, that defensive guy who, if he could ever stay healthy, this team was 13-1 until Randall went, and then Randall went down. So they built a philosophy. They built an idea. You could see the identity. What's the Giants' identity? Is it defense? Is it offense? Is it building through the draft? Is it building foundational pieces through free agency? What is it? Are you in a win now mode? Or are you now in year 3 going to say, okay, we're going to tear this down and build? Because I guess someone came out and said that this is the worst supporting cast Daniel Jones has had since 2019. Oh, the running back room sucks. Everyone's like with Tracy. Everyone's in love with Tracy. You always have to have someone you're in love with. Oh, God, Tracy's going to be fucking awesome. He played 1 year in college as a running back, and I believe he played some running back in high school. But he's going to be Deebo Samuels. What are the odds? Just throwing that out there. What are the odds? Then you got a corner who's got speed, but his hands he really can't cover. doesn't track the ball well. Doesn't come down with interceptions. Then you don't reach for, you take best player available, but you reach for a safety in the second round, a quarter for the third, because you didn't have the money to build through free agency. I keep thinking about these things. Oh yeah, don't forget the Wabash quarterback, Liam Thompson, not Thompson. He's going to be the front. He's going to be the face of the franchise. Mara still needs to pull a Dolan. He needs to pull a Dolan. He needs to turn over the keys. He needs to just get the fuck out of the way. I'm really beginning to think that the biggest issue we have is the fact that James Dolan is smarter in some regards than John Mara. You're living this right now. You're living the spring of the Knicks and the Rangers. You hope you go into the summer with the Knicks and the Rangers. You hope this is like a 94, which I remember, which I'm old enough to remember and have been there. Of course, I also remember the Reggie Miller game. I was there for that game too. 9 points. We're not going to talk about the Reggie Miller game, but we were there. This could be their summer. Could the Giants take over the fall? Hung Dave saves. Always watching Tim, even if I don't catch it live, I always watch it the next day during work. Oh, I appreciate that, Hung Dave. We miss your comments. I've asked this before, but what the hell do the Giants officially see with the made them keep DJ for 6 years? They made a lot of excuses for him, trickled into the fan base. But serious question. I don't know. I truly don't know. You talk to people, you talk to the majority of the people outside of New York, outside the New York bubble. People will tell you, you're in year 6 with a guy that hasn't done anything. They talk about the 2022 season. Yeah, it's below average. We have excelled through mediocrity at the quarterback position. And we now take that mediocrity and we believe we are transforming that into something special. You take it the worst. You take, and someone sent this to me, and I got to see if I can find it because I thought this was very interesting. Outside of their rookie years, someone sent me a quarterback season which was their worst season, and I thought this was interesting. It was 4,031 yards, 26 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, completed 65.9% of their passes, and that was in year 3. And that was their QB rating of 105.3. This is 105.3 FM. That was their worst season. And that person suffered through some injuries that season, which I thought it was interesting because it's like, okay, they missed 2 games that year, and that's their worst season. It was Patrick Mahomes. Daniel Jones' best season is his worst season at 3,000 yards, 15 touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes, who missed 2 games that year, still took his team to 11-3, threw for over 4,000 yards and 26 touchdowns and only 5 interceptions, and still missed 2 games. But that was his worst season. So Daniel Jones's best season does not even equal Patrick Mahomes' worst season. That's something you need to look at and think about. Matthew also says his numbers have been even close to the top 10. He's never been better than Eli at his worst. And you're 100% right. Captain Alvarez says, don't forget the Wabash quarterback, Liam Thompson. I have faith in him. Either or Rook will be better than DeVito, but the Giants are so inept. They will keep DeVito and say he won them games last year. Zach also says the NFL forced the Giants to hire Julian. Wrong. Wellington Mara asked Pete Rozelle for help. You're 100% right, Zach. That's why you're the intelligent fan. Mara won't ask for anyone from help. He knows best. It's like father knows best. The only problem, our father doesn't know best. And Wellington, who got the keys from his father, Tim Mara, turned over the free keys to the franchise to John, of course. John takes half the franchise, the 49% franchise, and sells it to Tish. And he's been running football operations since. But we can't find a common denominator that will make the team better. But I think I can find a common denominator that continuously keeps the team in mediocrity, and that is the Mara family. And I can say this because I'm a season ticket holder. Why do I keep shaking the camera? What the hell's going on here? Why is this? We got an earthquake down here or something? I could say that because I'm a season ticket holder. Chris says cap is worse than when Shane got cap. I don't get that either, Chris. The cap has literally gotten worse. The roster has become more devoid of talent, is salary cap top heavy, and has become a worse situation than when Gettleman was here. Someone has to literally explain. Seriously, someone really needs to explain that to me. How the fuck does the salary cap how the fuck does Gettleman coming in the salary cap gets worse? Doesn't get better, it gets worse. Zach says 2020 was a big fluke and set the Giants back years. Going 6-1 was the worst. First of all, they went 7-2, Zach, in those first 9 games. And then they went 2-5-1. The wheels fell off the fucking bus, and we all know what happened. Ray says, I'll end all arguments with the DJ supporters when I ask, name 3 things he does well, not top 5, just does well. Well, I can name 3 things. Ray, I can literally name 3 things. He steals money well. He sits on the bench like a champ. And he's a demon at the rehab. Joe Rev says, T-Dog, the identity of the team is Danny Cross-Eyed Jones, mediocre losers. And you don't want that to be the philosophy of the team. That's the thing. You don't want that to be the philosophy of the team, but it is the philosophy of the team. In some ways, you're not wrong. In some ways, our philosophy is mired in mediocrity. Because if you have a quarterback for 6 years that you think is the bomb, and his best season's 3,000 yards, 15 touchdowns, and his best season does not even equate to Patrick Mahomes' worst season, there's something very wrong here. So the Giants have 2 Kayvons on defense, 2 Wandells on offense. What's Shane thinking? Don't worry, though, Mr. Alvarez. Don't worry. Giants have one of the fastest skill position players at the wide receivers ever that we've ever seen. Fastest. Just they're the fastest. Thank God football is played in a straight line. Thank God when you play football, you just run straight. You don't need to turn left. You don't need to turn right. You don't need to juke. You just go straight. Because everyone knows that straight line speed is all that matters. Just ask Al Davis. Well, you really can't ask Mike Davis. He'll tell you about his father, who just drafted speed. He thought speed was the intangible. We got speed. Right, Mick? Why does this keep shaking? What the fuck is going on with this camera today? Everyone just hold on. Hold on. This is good. This is going to be good when I talk about this. You know, because it's no longer irrelevant. There we go.
I feel the need for speed.
That's no longer irrelevant because it only took me 28 minutes to find it. Move Wan'Dale Robinson, running back. I agree. Move the Smurf, make him a Darren Sproles. If he's going to catch the ball 3 yards off the line of scrimmage and get you 0 yak, that's what you need to do. And I like Wan'Dale Robinson. I think Wan'Dale Robinson could be a running back. Move Wan'Dale to running back, and we have Tyrone Tracy. And now Tyrone Tracy aspires to be. I'm still excited to see Malik play regardless of how we do. He's only 20 and should be here, hopefully, a while. I thought said the same thing about Odell. Jared even signed a contract. I don't remember what the over-under was for Malik Neighbors complaining about him not getting the ball. Because I like Malik because he talks about himself in the third person. I've always wanted to do that. Tim doesn't think that's a good idea, though. Tim thinks that, that's just the wrong thing to do when Tim doesn't talk about himself that way, because that's what Tim thinks. The Giants are a joke in the NFC East. You can't even pencil in the Washington wins anymore. You really can't. You can't sit there and say, well, we're going to win at Washington. You can't. I've added 4 things DJ does well. He's throwing from a chair. Listen, don't be rude to DJ about throwing from a chair. This is a difficult thing to do. Do you think it's easy to stand and sit in a chair and throw the ball? There you go. This is what Crazy Eye is going to do. He's literally going to throw from the chair. We're going to put the chair on the field. Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, Tommy DeVito, Nathan Rook. This gives the NFC East Conference great free wins. Coach Dave, what's your thought on giving Slayton a new deal? I'm not in favor of it. Why would we give Darius? I love Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton has been a good Giant. 100%. Darius Slayton is on any other team is a number 2 or potentially third wide receiver. Darius Slayton's best year when he had basically 2020, you got to say. Oh, not even 2020. His most catches he had 50 catches in 2020. He had a catch percentage of 52.1% in 2020. People forget the drops. People forget that he only had a 63% catch ratio last year. He only averaged 45. He only averaged 45 yards a game. Played in all 17 games. Had 29 first downs. Was the second lowest in his career. With 2021, we're only playing 13 games when he had 14 first downs. Pass for first downs. He did have the big receptions too. He had the big receptions he had 2 big receptions in 2022. But why am I going to give it? What outside is 3? He has 3,324 yards, 19 touchdowns in 5 years. Once again, we can't overpay for mediocrity. Above average NFL wide receiver. Second to third string wide receiver. Second to third wide receiver, maybe even a fourth on every other team but the Giants. And this is the problem we get into. I'm not talking about you, Coach, but I'm just saying in general. Here's the problem we get into as fans. I've said this a million times before. I had 19 tackles in one game. Nobody talks about the 11 I missed. You want to know why? Because even on a bad team, somebody has to make the tackles. Darius Slayton, outside that one season, has he ever been on a good team? Even on a bad team, someone has to catch the ball. Jones is also great at making his jock sniffers think he's an MVP candidate at the beginning of every season. The Dolphins have speed to translate into football speed. Waddle, Hill, yep. And now OBJ. Alvarez says, you forget Neighbors has a gun charge last year. He's gone to New York. Better not bring any guns while he's here. Yeah, he did have a gun charge. But I think it went away though. The gun charge. I think it goes away with whatever. I think he's got probation or shit like that. The more I feel like Neighbors is going to get double teamed and put up no numbers because they know he's the only weapon we have. You would hope that if you got double teamed, that would open the field for somebody else, and your quarterback would be astute enough to find that secondary, the tertiary wide receiver. Do we really think that? Do we really think that they are going to be smart enough to find whoever the quarterback is? Because I'm still not sold that Daniel Jones is going to be the day one starter. I'm still not sold on Drew Lock whatsoever. I had some moron in the chat yesterday go to me, and I loved it because he goes to me, I feel bad for this guy because he doesn't understand what Drew Lock is about and what he did and how he wrecked the Philadelphia Eagles and how he torched them. 208 and a touchdown against a bad Philadelphia team and a bad secondary is not torching someone on Monday Night Football. That's that's why this kid was a Giant fan, because that's Daniel Jones stats. That literally is the Daniel Jones philosophy. Someone throws for 200 yards and a touchdown, and they torched the team. They torched them, dudes. They torched them. How do you feel about Isaiah? I think he's a decent, but not a consistent. Isaiah is a fourth to fifth wide receiver. Isaiah should be returning punts and playing special teams someplace else. Neighbors on the Giants' social media videos looked pissed. He still looks pissed. Dominic Palmer, good afternoon, all. Taking a break. Tim will get the pun. Yes, Dom injured himself playing European football. And that's all I'm going to get in. That's literally all I'm going to get into. And we wish a speedy recovery from the king of poppycockers because of the fact that phrase. We all want to wish the Dominic Palmer of poppycockers a well wishes after that vicious hit that he took. He won't be at the Poppycockers for a while, but if you're looking for the best place to go on the West End to get your poppycock, there's no better place to go than the Poppycockers. A big shout out to the Dahmer. Dom, you got to give up football. you got to give up European football, Dom. I'm not going to get into Dom's injuries, but Dom's a tough little guy. He's a tough little elf. He is the baddest man in the tree. No one else can make a cookie like Dom. Oh, I'm sorry, I went the wrong way. But Dom, don't even get me started. Dom, don't get me started because I can't read. I have a photo. I have a photo of Dom that he sent me today. That is OBB gold. It is better than
draft, baby. Yeah.
It's 100 times better than
draft, baby. Yeah.
But out of common decency, which I do have, I will not share the photo. Well, maybe not on this stream, maybe on a Sunday stream. Joe says, Tim, always happy to catch a live. Thank you for being a rational voice in the Giants nation. Loved your views on the last Knicks game too, by the way. Brunson really is playing at a very high level. Brunson's just bringing it, man. Brunson's Bernard. But the only thing is this. I'm old enough to remember these things. Brunson is Bernard Kinging it. Bernard King was, especially in that Celtics series, was just dropping 50s. And he carried the Knicks. Now they didn't. Now it didn't end well for the. It didn't end. Hold on 1 second. 1 o'clock. Okay, because I also have to run out and take care of that other thing at 1:15. All right, I have to take care of some things today. I'm very busy today, but he's Bernard Kinging it a little bit, and I hope that he carries through. And I hope that OG Anunoby, I hope that Hart, I hope that DiVincenzo, I hope everyone else helps pick up the slack when he doesn't have that moment anymore. Neighbors will like flash the Hart's hand signs. I'm worried. Yeah, there's you know what? I'm not gonna worry about it because he's a kid, because he's 20 years old. I'm more worried that he is going to get frustrated. I'm more worried that he is going to reach a point in the season where he doesn't. He's not feeling the love. That's what I'm worried about. That he's going to reach that point. I keep hitting the cable. That's why the camera keeps shaking. He's not feeling the love. Shane is a disaster. Listen, I'm not going to say he's not. I'm not going to say he's the disaster yet. Let's see what year 3 brings. If year 3 brings 6 wins, if year 3 brings another Evan Neal type disaster, if Evan Neal is still the disaster, then I have to sit there and say, yeah, he's heading down that primrose path. Coach Day says they're gonna die on the DJ Hill. He's the guy, and Locke won't even get a fair chance to compete. Why does anyone want Locke to get a fair chance to compete? That's still my question to this day. Why would anyone want Locke to get a fair chance to compete? Why? What has Locke done in 5 years that anyone is like, well, he needs a chance to compete? They gave him a chance in Denver. They gave him a chance twice in Seattle to beat out Geno Smith. And he couldn't beat out Teddy Bridgewater or Geno. He couldn't beat out an over the hill, overrated, injured Teddy Bridgewater. And he couldn't beat out Geno Smith. So what is that? What is this? What is this affinity and this affection? Because he likes to dance on the sidelines. That's what he does. He's dancing on the sideline. He's moving and grooming. That makes him cool. That's what the cool kids say. Matt Patricia beat the Eagles, not the Seahawks, not Drew Lock. Dominant Powers. How's Urban Meyer? I'm out for several months, but reckon with 7 broken bones, I can still make the quarterback room.
Get him a body bag, Johnny! Yeah!
You got to get him a body bag, Johnny. Oh, Dom. We got to wish Dom a speedy recovery. Like I said, the Elf Olympics is nothing to laugh about. I should do a PSA. You can get wrecked in the Elf Olympics. Just ask Dom. He got rolled by a troll. Hey-oh. I fear neighbors will quickly become a malcontent and become a problem. You hope he doesn't. You hope he kind of just figures out this is what this team is. Good, bad, or indifferent, this is what this team is. And you hope he's patient. You hope he goes through the rookie. You hope he goes through his, he'll go through his rookie swoon a little bit. So maybe he'll get a little humbled by it. And maybe he'll become a different person, because you are a different person at 20 than you are at 25. And I know it's 4 years away or 5 years away. I don't know when his birthday is, but you never know. Let's just kind of wait and see. I said on the Facebook post, neighbors is good, but with DJ checking down, unless he's DJ's first read, he's not getting the ball. Football on your phone. No, he's not. And that's gonna be the prevalent issue. He's not going to get the ball. I know you're out for several months, Dom. I didn't know that. Who the fuck's gonna be at work? Who the hell's running poppycockers? Zach says, do you think RJ Barrett trade was a win for the Knicks? Quickly's a free agent. If he re-signs with Toronto, that'll make it more interesting because Quickly, outside of when his brother died and some other missing games, was on pace to actually be doing some things. RG Barrett, he's at home. He's home now. He's from Canada. So I'm from Canada, eh? So he's where he wants to be. If OG Anunoby can stay healthy, that's been the phrase of OG Anunoby's entire career. I mean, if you go back and take a look, which is funny because I pulled this up and this is what scares me. 2017, let's do this. 2017 torn ACL, 2018 sprained right ankle again in 2018, orbital contusion in 2018. He also missed games for personal reason in 2018 and a wrist injury, right wrist injury, a sprained wrist injury in 2019, personal 2019 head injury, 2019 appendix, 2019 knee, 2020 knee, 2021 calf, 2021 calf. Let's see here. He also had a calf injury also in 2021. He had a finger injury in 2022, a hip injury in 2020, an ankle injury in 2023, wrist in 2023, a wrist in 2023, an ankle in 2023, an elbow in 2024, and then an elbow again in 2024. That's just some of the we'll say issues he has had going back since he has been in the league. Right then and there. That's the proverbial red flag. I mean, that's what you have to see. I mean, you have to see he was playing well. Then he got hurt, and then this is a guy that he played in 1874 games, 1967, 2069, 21 and 20, 21, 22, 43 and 48 respectively. Then he played 67 and 23, and he played 50 games this year. Last time I checked, it was an 82 game schedule. Just throwing that out there. A good wide receiver doesn't make a bad quarterback good. Can you give me an example? Yes, I can give you an example. Rod Tidwell, Arizona Cardinals. Especially that last season before he got his contract, put up huge numbers. Had that big touchdown against Dallas. Name me his quarterback. Took him to the playoffs that year. And Rod we trust. Rod Tidwell. You can't even name the quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals that year. Hit that like button, says Big James. Why did the Giants grab two of the worst quarterbacks in the 2019 draft? Makes perfect sense. Tim, it's cause we are just fed up with Danny Jones, just given the starting job without competition. We just want someone to give a fair chance. No, you're not allowed to. James Williams, get him a body bag, Johnny. Yeah. It's hard enough to find that clip, James. I could find it off the movie, but the problem was this, it was too low. I literally had to take it off the song Sweep the Leg Johnny to get that sound effect just for my brother Big James, just for nope, whoops, sorry.
Get him a body bag, Johnny! Yeah!
That's from the video Sweep the Leg Johnny. Coach Dave said it's more about DJ being a bum than it is about Locke being good. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Neighbors will start smiling when Jones is gone. I know I'll be smiling. Oh, Chippy, my neighbor. Everyone's saying feel better, Big Don Juan, because we're sitting there with the injury to the Dahmer. Yo, says Emmanuel Tim. Mr. Albert says Tim. OG and Randall contracts both due in 2025. You've had to pick one to keep. Who are you keeping? You proven you can win without Randall. I love Julius Randle. Even that sometimes he's a malcontent. I love Julius Randle. I think the combination was this is the Knicks luck and logic. The combination of Randall, Brunson, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, and DiVincenzo was something special. That 14-game run where they were 13-1 before he went down was something special. you saw this fluidity. You saw pure basketball, not only on the offensive end, but at the defensive end as well. You saw a team with a cohesiveness. So, I mean, I like to keep both, but I know I ain't going to happen. And I worry about OG's injuries outside of the shoulder. You know, I mean, Randall's been a soldier, and evidently he got hurt, and he got hurt with contact with the last injury. So sweep the leg, Johnny. It's the 70s all over again. Let's see here. James Williams also says, first move of the business trade. I should say Zach says to James Williams, first move of business, trading DJ and a first round pick for the team to eat up cap space. It is the 70s all over again. It is. Thank Tim. Thank you, brother, for getting me through this lunch meeting. I figured, you know what? I wasn't going to do a stream because I'm probably not going to do a stream until Saturday. I'm not going to do one on Sunday because it's Mother's Day. Big plans with the family on Mother's Day. So we're not going to talk about that just in case the wife is watching. So I figured let me do a stream today because, you know, I'm going to be wrapped up with the Knicks for at least this series and then the next series. Yeah. Knicks in 6. Said it a week ago. I'm going to say it again. Knicks in 6, baby. That's what we're going to do. Randall's going to pull a Willis Reed, come out with his arm in a cast. He's going to dom it and come in with an arm with a cast. His arm's going to be cast. And he's going to do it like Reed did, hit those first 2 shots, and then jump off the planet. The Knicks are then going to go on this torrid pace, sweep everyone for the ship.
Gentlemen, which brings me to my next point. Don't smoke crack.
I love the Nova Knicks. The Knicks won the trade. Barrett is meh. I hate losing. I quickly. I want to say Ivana quickly. I hated losing quickly too because you lost. I mean, the Knicks were the 6th highest off the bench scoring team with quickly. They dropped down to like 28. You lost. He was for the old timers the Vinnie Johnson microwave Detroit Pistons. They used to call him microwave. They used to call Vinnie Johnson microwave because he would just come in and heat right up. And that's what quickly was. But then quickly showed in Toronto when, like I said, when he was playing, that he could be a full-time point guard. Unless you were going to move Brunson, the shooting guard, which I don't think you're going to do. That's why I don't think you're going to go out and get the likes of Donovan Mitchell. Because both of them are going to be liabilities. It was a move that you can make. And Barrett, you know what? We would probably be better off with Barrett now with the Randall injury. And I think Barrett would be putting up like still 20 plus. I think he'd still put up 26 and 4, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Because he's athletic enough and he can play defense. But it's the continuity between Brunson, DiVincenzo, and Hart that's something special to watch. She's always watching. Are you doing the schedule release video? I predict 15 losses. When is the schedule coming out? When is the NFL New York Giants schedule coming out? No, I don't do schedule predictions. I don't sit there. But when is the date? It's let's see here. May 15th, isn't it? Announced Giants 2024 release delayed announcement on May 15th. So the schedule is going to be released on May 15th. No, I don't do that, Zach. You know that. What am I, 12? I'm going to run out and grab the mic and say, this is how many games we're going to win before we even went to training camp, before we even went to rookie camp, before we even had a preseason game. That's what I'm going to do. You know better than that, Zach. I'm a man. Without convictions, you come and go. You come and go. Come a chameleon. You come and go. Just like the Giants. Mr. Ramos says, I want both as well, but the only way I feel it's possible is if you both take a pay cut. I think Anunoby might take a pay cut. I do think that. Mr. Ramos says, schedule also supposedly drops next Wednesday. I'm curious. You know the teams. Does it really matter? Does it really matter? I mean, think about that for a second. Does it really matter about the schedule? We know when it's going to drop. We know who we're playing. All you need to do is win. You know who worries about the schedule and which way the schedule is going to go? You know who worries about that? Losers. Not people that worry about that. I'm saying organizations. You want to know why? Because it's their own ineptitude that they have to look at. Okay, this is a win, this is a win, this is a win. We should immediately be saying any team, anytime we play them is a win. We shouldn't be sitting there going, well, we're going to lose this game. That's what should happen. You shouldn't have to look at the schedule and go, okay, we play this team in September. We might be able to beat them, but we got this guy in November. You should be looking at the fact that if you have like late season matchups that are in their divisional and saying, okay, this is what we need to do to make the playoffs. But sitting there trying to pencil in wins and losses, what am I, 8? Have a training camp. Have a preseason game. But you're going to see a lot of those videos. You're going to see a lot of them popping up. Tons of them popping up. I can just like Tracy's going to be in the next Debo Samuels. I can see trading for Penix next year if there's no good quarterbacks in the draft. Everyone's there's a problem with trading for Penix. Here's the problem with this. What if Kirk Cousins doesn't come back healthy? What if Kirk Cousins is a shell of himself after this injury? Do you really think Atlanta's going to say, hey, we're going to give up on a quarterback? Here you go. I love Hendon Hooker. But I'm not going to sit there and tell us, well, we need to go get Hendon Hooker because Detroit's not going to give up Hooker. Because you need a quality backup in this league. What if Goff turns into Jared Goff again from early Ram days? Then what happens? You have Hendon Hooker. Don't worry, though. We got Drew Lock. I really hope the Knicks don't get Kevin Durant or some other personality. It's going to be distraction or malcontent. Got to build from the ground up. I don't see that. If you take a look at the cap, I don't see it. Unless Durant comes in here and says, I don't want to take any money. I don't need a max. Hell, I'll play for a veteran minimum. No, he's not coming here. Durant is this guy that he is the epitome of what's wrong with the NBA in some regards. I'm not going to sit there and tell you he's a mercenary, but he does go to the best situation for him to win. He doesn't go places to make them around him or those around him better. He goes to situations where they're already just as good, if not better, players around him, where he doesn't have to shoulder the load. And this is what he does. This all started with LeBron, Bosh, and Wade. And now, if you noticed, a lot of these teams are now getting away from the super teams. We're gonna build a super core. Ask how did it work for Durant? They're getting away from that. They're going building through the draft, building like we've talked about, a cohesive continuity. That's what they're doing. That's what teams are trying to do now. That's what they're trying to build upon. They're not trying to build on these top 3 guys, and then you look at the other 9 and go, okay, we're gonna have top 3 guys make a max. You other 9 veteran minimums. It doesn't work. It doesn't work like it used to. Hell, the Celtics drafted that way. They weren't built that way. They drafted that way. Now they can never get over the hump.
That's what she said.
But that's what they do. We play the Seahawks a lot recently. We do. We play the NFC North and the NFC South. Jordan Love and Penix were the same age when drafted. Good point. Chris says our schedule won't matter. We could not beat Pop Warner competition. Let me tell you something about Pop Warner competition. What age group are we talking about? 8 to 12? Or are we talking 8 to 12? Because those 8 to 12-year-olds are tough. Come on, Chris. That's no pushover. Some of those 8 to 12-year-olds are going to be hitting puberty. And then if they hit puberty, you know what happens? You get an appointment confirmed. They hit puberty, that's it. They shoot up. They're dom size. They're literally like 4'11". And you expect the Giants to go up against that? I think you're slighting Pop Warner. The St. Louis Battlehawks versus the Birmingham Stallions will destroy the Giants. A.J. McCarron's looking good in the UFL. There's a couple. You know what's funny? There's a couple guys that are looking good. Is it the UFL? Is it the UFL now? Is that what it's called now? Because there's a couple guys that are looking good in this spring league. I don't even know what the hell it's called. Is it called the UFL? What happened to my computer? Did it just freeze? I like the USFL better. I like the name of USFL better. I don't like this UFL crap. Is it the UFL? Zach, is it the UFL? Yeah, it's the UFL. Okay. I thought it was. But you know what? I mean, there's actually I was surprised. There's actually some guys that are actually playing some decent ball. What's his name? That I think McCarron's got like 13 touchdowns or 14 touchdowns. The kid from what the hell's the name of the kid? What's his name? Something Perez. I watched him the other day. He's like leading the league with like 1,300 yards. I'm trying to think. You know, you got some, like I said, AJ McCarron, man. AJ McCarron showing he ain't no fluke. 67% of his passes, 1,300 yards, 13 TDs, baby, for the McCarron. Bring him back. Luis Perez, thank you. I could not remember. Mr. Weaver. Tim, what's going on? It's amazing how we sign these unknown quarterbacks. I just sit back and laugh. My father said the Giants won't ever get a black quarterback. Hell, or even draft one. You're not wrong. Adrian Martinez is looking good too. Adrian Martinez, he plays for Birmingham, right, Zach? Is that the kid from Birmingham? Is he on Birmingham? I think I watched him. I think they clinched a I think was it Saturday that they clinched a playoff berth. Birmingham did. I think it was Saturday. They got a playoff. They're in the play. I think they're in the playoffs. Yes, it is. Thank you. I was watching some football. I like I said, how do you even watch UFL? UFL had some quarterbacks that should already be on rosters, but some scouts are blinded as the Giants scouts. There are some guys in USFL that are playing well, man. I mean, they're playing well. They're not playing lights out. They're playing against not inferior competition, but they're playing against lower level pro competition. So I gotta give them credit. I gotta give him credit for going out there and playing, man. Luis Perez, we're gonna bring him in. We're bringing in Luis Perez. Hola, ¿dónde está Luis Perez? Por favor. Me llamo Giant. Let's see here. Perez, Martinez, McCarron. They got some solid quarterbacks. And I don't have to look. You know what? Let me look it up. Let's look up the USFL real quick here. They only played 6 games so far. The USFL. How many games are Zach? How many games are in the USFL season? I don't know a lot about the USFL. I just like watching football. Matt Carroll. He's playing in the league too. Well, that's not a good thing. What's his name? What's his? Let's see here. Who's this kid? Who's this Tatum? Who's this kid? Who's the kid for DC? Who's this Jordan kid for the DC Defenders? I prefer the Washington Federals. I'm an old USFL guy. Joe says we will address the quarterback position signs. We did address it. So Birmingham has only played 6 games. They've already clinched a playoff spot. Shit, I almost wish we were the Birmingham Stallions. I think I want to be a Birmingham Stallion. All right, we are now. Okay, everyone. This is Tim. This is the Birmingham Stallion UFL Network. Hope you're going to come by and watch UFL because you know what? The Stallions are on fire. I don't know. Sounds good, though. There's nothing wrong with starting a rookie quarterback. All he sits for 2-3 years to learn. No jump in the start, a la Michael Penix. Feel bad for him. By the time he starts, he'll probably be 28. If you go back to the old days, Mr. Weaver, and you're a youngster. Go back to the 70s and the 80s. A lot of times these guys came out of college were anywhere between 21 to 23 because they were 4-year college starters. And a lot of times you drafted a quarterback in the first round, he sat for 3-4 years. So this kid could be anywhere between 25 to 27 before he even sniffed the playing field. Just a little known fact. Funny, he was an Ole Miss quarterback. I didn't know that before. I did not know. UFL played 10 games. The Rock is looking to expand to 10 teams. Oh, this is the thing with Dwayne Johnson. Okay, I thought it was UFL. I am very confused. I thought we were talking Giants here. Talking everything but Giants. Talking Knicks. Let's go Knicks. Talking UFL. Talking Dom getting injured. This was Dom on the field the other day, and this is what happened to him.
What's your assignment?
Kill the quarterback. Hit the tight end so hard his girlfriend dies. Kill everybody.
And then this was Dom.
Gentlemen,
It's Daniel Jones at the 5. It's Daniel Jones at never mind.
And that was Dom in real life. The XFL and the USFL merged to form the UFL. Gotcha. Speaking of the NBA, how about them Nuggets? Crickets. Oh wait, I got a cricket sound effect. Hold on, wait a minute. There you go, Joe. I like that better, Joe. It's Denver Nuggets. You know what I hate about the Denver Nuggets losing those 2 games at home? No one talks about the Knicks on the radio. I listen to the NBA network all the time. And all they want to talk about is the Denver Nuggets. Okay, the Knicks just beat the Indiana Pacers. And they're the only game in town tonight, I believe. And all you want to talk about is the Denver Nuggets. Yeah, I know they're 0-2. I know they're the champs. I know only 3 teams have come back from 0-2 since losing the games at home. I get all that, but the fucking Knicks won. What the hell's wrong with you people? What's up, Eric? What's up, peeps? Just relax. You're asking anyone other podcaster on YouTube. Ask anyone from any other podcast on YouTube. You finally have a weapons and a line for DJ. He will throw about 50 touchdowns and over 5,000 yards. We've talked about this before. The first quarterback in New York Giant history to throw for over 4,000 yards was Phil Simms in 1984. So the first Giant quarterback per Eric, well, not per Eric, per everyone else, Daniel Jones is going to be the first Giant to throw for 5,000 yards. Okay, Joe, I love the new sound effect button. Let me see what the other ones do real quick. Thank you. I'm awesome. I know it. A little balls and over. Hey, let's go next. Put the needle on the record. Hey, oh, what else we got here? Oh, we got more buns. Hold on. What does this one do? That one didn't do anything. Okay, what about this one? No, you know what I think about all those people on YouTube that think that Daniel Jones is going to be the greatest quarterback ever, and they can never understand that the fact that they're so. And the horse you rode in on. What does this one do? What does this one do? Okay, this is
just the normal sound effects now.
I never really pushed all these buttons.
Except for Carl Banks.
What else is? Do we get any other buttons? Oh, there's another section here. What does this other section do? Oh, money. I like that one.
Because I like.
Oh, we did that one already. All right. Well, you know what? I never knew this. I got all these banks on here. I got 5 different banks. Spend all this money on equipment. Probably should look at one day how to read it, how to play with it. All right. Last of the ones. The Giants are the joke. So the UFL is fun thing to talk about. Wait, I failed to mention we won't miss Barkley either. Jones will add another 2,000 yards rushing. Thank you. So, Eric, you're telling me that the other morons are telling us this, and you know what I got to say to them? and your mama. Not to you, Eric, of course. Atlas Robert says the fact that people are saying Jones will become Phil Simms because Phil Simms was a late bloomer and they think Jones will do the same show or how delusional fans can be. Phil Simms was a late bloomer vis-a-vis injury and stupidity. Phil Simms not playing in 1983 outside of that Philadelphia game where he bashed his helmet and bashed his thumb on the helmet against the Eagles almost cost Bill Parcells his job at 3-12-1. He was leading the Giants to the playoffs in 81 before he got hurt. He actually played well in the 82 season, which was the strike shortened season. He was the runner-up offensive rookie in year 79 to O.J. Anderson. He was having a good season again in 81, but it ended in injury. Like I said, he was leading the teams to the playoffs in 81. Then he bounced back in 84 to be the first Giant quarterback to throw for over 4,000 yards plus. So there is no comparison. And I know you know that, Mr. Roberts. Jalen blocking came on Thibodeau and Burns. What's your opinion of Neal? Do you think it's a bad technique coaching or he just can't play left tackle? Listen, he could play. He could play in college. The problem is this. We've talked about it before. Sometimes your poor guard play affects your tackle play. And the fact that you had, and he said it best before, Evan Neal, I could have 45 plays in a game. I could have 3 bad plays, but all anyone wants to talk about, not the 42 things I did right, but the 3 things I did wrong. Just think if we would have gone after, and some people did gone after Andrew Thomas, like we're going after Evan Neal. The difference is that Evan Neal spoke up and he did the whole burger flipping comment, which is not the right way to go. But Andrew Thomas never spoke up. I think it's a little bit of technique. I think he's slow to get out of his stance. I think he's always going to have problems. He had problems with speed rushers in college. I don't think moving him to the guard position is going to be the solution. I think keeping him at the right tackle position and teaching him maybe a little bit better footwork, maybe working on his technique coming out of his stance, maybe giving him a little help. Now, the problem is everyone talks about Dane Bellinger and how they need to release him in the offensive, and they need to release him from the offense because all he did was block last year to help Evan Neal. Well, that was the case. Then I see why we went out and drafted a tight end, because then I got a lot of concerns about the blocking skills of Mr. Bellinger. Because at the end of the day, if that's what you did, and you still had all those sacks on that side of the line, even when Justin Pugh was there, and you had your tight end in there to block, so you had an extra man on that side, and you still gave up a plethora of sacks, then there's something wrong with your tight end, along with your tackle or your guard. But we don't want to talk about that. Zach over Blacks both at the same time. Philosophy Soner says, do you think it's our weakest position right now besides quarterback and CB2? What do you think is I got to go running back. Well, and linebacker. And defense and safety. I think we're pretty good at punter. If I had to say what's our weakest position right now outside of those two, I got to go safety. So I'm not going to rely on a second round pick to come in here when he had issues with speed guys in college. And he's got the size and the strength to be an in-the-box strong safety, and then think the likes of Pinnock and Dane Belton are going to man the rest of the way. We got problems. And not having anyone really behind you got the Nachos, but not having anyone behind Lawrence or playing alongside of Lawrence, that's going to be an issue, especially since Shane Bowen likes to use the 4-man front. I got one thing I got to say about the 4-man front thing. This bugged the shit out of me. And I just want to say it real quick. When Shane Bowen signed his contract, we talked about it on the stream. And someone bashed me because of the fact that I said that he runs a lot of 4-man front to generate his pass rush. This was like in the first 10 minutes of the stream, and people are like, well, he doesn't run a 4-man front. He runs a 3-4. And a couple days go by, and people are like, well, Shane Bowen really likes to run a 4-man front when he blitzes. Yeah, that's what I said. I'm just throwing that out there. All right, it's 1 o'clock. I got to get out of here, guys. I just wanted to jump on because, like I said, I'm probably not going to see anyone until Saturday. I hope everyone had a good time. I had a lot of fun here. This is Tennessee here at Giant Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. We're going to see you on Saturday, not Sunday, because it's Mother's Day. And you know what? I'm out of here.